All right. We are live and we actually have audio. So that's a step up. We're going to hop into a puppy draft and just talk through the thought process. So I'm in about, I'd say 30 slow puppies right now. So I've been doing that all day. And that's been enjoyable at work. But let's hop into one of the fast ones. And honestly, I've been thinking about where I want to draft. Um, I know some people like the 1 and 2 spot. You get Justin Jefferson, you get Jamar Chase, and there's no doubt week to week. Not only do you have the consistent floor, but you have that high ceiling. And as far as like spike weeks go, weeks 15, 16, 17, there's really nobody who matches what they can do. But if I can get, Justin Jefferson, and then I'm at the turn, I'm getting like Tony Pollard, Devonta Smith, or I can start with like CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Honestly, I might want CeeDee Lamb. I don't know. Maybe I'm high on Lamb and Garrett Wilson, Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams. I know that Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, they're a tier ahead, but how large is that tier drop? I mean, realistically, you're not picking again for 2 rounds essentially when you're picking at the 1 and 2. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel, but we're picking at 9 today. We're gonna be looking at Eckler, Diggs, AJ Brown, Bijan, one of those, and anybody we know in here. No, but we are in a draft with Thermal Paste 19. So that's pretty. This is intense. Gotta watch out for Thermal Paste, but all right. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Kupp, standard beginning. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, okay, do we want to do Kupp or CMC? And I know that it's 3 wide receivers on Underdog, and Kupp has a week-to-week ceiling that we've never seen before. But so does Christian McCaffrey. And when I look at, the difference, when I look at McCaffrey versus like an aging Eckler, Bijan in his first year, Chubb, who doesn't have much receiving upside, like the tier between McCaffrey and all the other running backs versus like even Kupp and Tyreek Hill, it's the McCaffrey teardrop is insane. So I feel like I have to take McCaffrey at 3. I never would have done that in the past, but all right, Eckler falls. We're gonna have to take him. But yeah, that was something I was thinking about today when I was drafting. I know a lot of people would disagree, and I know that. Receivers are pushed up so far on Underdog, but I don't know. Just that it's like, if McCaffrey didn't have the injury history, he would be, he'd be in the running with Justin Jefferson at 101. And I truly believe that. He was coming off an injury and still was the 101 after that first year of injuries. Because when you've seen that ceiling like that, it's hard not to take him that high, All right, let's hope that Wilson falls to us. Nope. So we're looking at Waddle, JT. Actually, so a lot of my late round running back targets have risen up draft boards. So what I've found is that, rounds 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, there aren't the values that you were seeing at the start of the drafts. So I've been going very heavy running back builds at the start. So we have Eckler, JT. If we take, go down here, if we take someone like, Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, J.K. Dobbins, and then get my favorite target, who is Brian Robinson later on, we can just draft 4. And then what we can do is, if we do it correctly, we can get 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends. If we take I mean, we can kind of push it a little bit. Like if we take, let's say, Pat Fryermuth and then, Greg Dulcich, that's fine. That we can only take we only have to take 2 at that point, and then 2 quarterbacks as well. We can draft 10 wide receivers, and I don't care what you say. Even if we're drafting Nico Collins, I don't like Juju. Like Tyler Boyd, I don't like anybody here. Elijah Moore, they're gonna have spike weeks, and when you have 10 of them, I don't know. And it's not like when you have 4 elite running backs, it's not like that flex spot is going to need to be filled with receivers anyway. So I've been doing a lot. Like, I have not liked Hyperfragile this year. I've found that I don't enjoy the way my teams look when they're done. But wide receiver value has shifted dramatically since the beginning of Best Ball coming out. All right, what are we looking at? Kelsey, Devonta Smith, CMC, T. Higgins. Nothing crazy so far. All right. All right, who are they taking at the turn here? Derrick Henry. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you get JJ, awesome, cool, epic, but then you have to settle for Henry and Debo. Whereas, like, I'm getting Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, and then, probably, like, Amari Cooper. I like that so much more. Like, I'm sorry. I like this team a lot. Cup, Olave, Stevenson. Did Stevenson fall? I don't memorize ADP, so I always have to look, but no. No, that was about where he usually goes. This team who gets Andrews, it'll be interesting to see if Lamar falls and he can get that stack, because a start of CMC, T. Higgins, Andrews, and Lamar is insane. Like, that would be wild. Alright, who's in? Oh no. I can't take Breece Hall. There's no way. They don't have a running back. They'll take him. I won't have to worry about it. I trust that they'll put me in a good situation, right? Like, they won't give me a tough decision between Breece Hall and either Calvin Ridley and Amari Cooper. Okay, listen. I was talking about Hyperfragile. I was talking about how if we go 4 running back, we can we I'm not a big Amari Cooper fan. I'm so high on Elijah Moore. I just think the ceiling for Cooper can't possibly be that high, especially because Watson will be elite. I truly think so, but he won't be to his former self. So with lowered volume and basically what I think will be the 1B to his 1A with Elijah Moore. I don't know. I took a lot of Amari Cooper at the beginning of the season. I just can't get behind it now. And I'm glad I took Breece Hall, because honestly, between Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper, I don't think there's too much of a teardrop between the two of them. I think Jerry Jeudy is going to have a breakout season for sure. I'm not taking Watson. I don't like Watson. It's between Jeudy and London, but I don't think it's very difficult. I think if Jeudy falls, I'll take him. Yeah. All right, so we'll just look here. Who are any potential for a stack? Not really. Okay, I'll go with Jeudy. I like that start. Alright, look at the board here. So, obviously, Lamar doesn't fall, but it would have been insane. It would have been crazy, but he'd have to fall pretty far. So let's see who they go with instead. Mike Williams. They might be setting up a Herbert stack. Oh, they definitely are. Yeah. I like that a lot. Actually, CMC, Higgins, Andrews, Mike Williams, Herbert is going to be a very strong start. I don't know about unstacked Burrow. I don't know about that decision. You know, you're picking him ahead of ADP. You don't have the stack. Unless I'm crazy. No, you don't have the stack. I don't know if I like that. Alright, DJ Moore goes. Interesting. So Hopkins goes at the 411. So who's he being taken? So he's ahead of Kirk, Ayuk. That's not too far off of where he from where he was before. Was it? Again, I don't track ADP like a psycho, so I don't I can never remember where people were, you know, a week ago, but I mean, looking at who he's after, you know, I would take McLaurin. I think he's about the same tier as Williams. I think he's about the same tier as Watson. I'd take London over him. I'd take him over DJ Moore, Marquise Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk. Yeah, I think that's a fair spot to go. So, we're on the clock. I don't want to take a running back because I want to take Brian Robinson later on. So it's between Deontay Johnson and Chris Godwin. So I'm a big Pickett guy, but I don't like Deontay. I think I have to take Godwin here. Especially because I think Baker Mayfield is an excellent value at the end of drafts. Plus, I can get one of, hopefully, JSN and Lockett. I like that Seattle offense a lot. And I was actually, yesterday, during the stream that I was muted the whole time, I went through the schedule, and I predicted, essentially, each matchup for the whole season. And I think the Panthers, I think the Commanders, and I think the Seahawks all have good seasons or good matchups. All right, what are we looking at? I'm going to follow this team closely because that's my favorite team so far. I like mine a lot. I think mine... I think as long as I get one... I don't like Lockett very much, but I think there's a teardrop below him. I'm not a Pittman guy. Burks needs to fall. I'm not an Evans guy. So, as long as I get JSN, I'm kind of sitting pretty. They each... This person needs a tight end. They could take Kittle. This person does not stack with Trevor, but we also saw Burrow fall unstacked. So this person could take Kittle now. Because Kittle is now past ADP. As long as JSN falls. I'm coping a little bit. If not, we can just take Kittle. I think that's fine. I'm not a huge... Okay. Interesting. Is there Kittle news? I mean, it's only a couple picks, but you know, I found that tight ends don't typically fall that far, especially when they're elite. I don't care though. I'm going JSN. Right? Yeah. Yeah. I need to stack up on receivers before they dry up a little bit. Plus, honestly, the late round tight end options like Everett, uh, Juwan Johnson, Conklin, McBride, especially that you're getting for nothing. I mean, Zach Ertz is not. He's nothing. He's worthless in my opinion. So you have Rondale Moore, you know, like 5'2", running his little routes. You have Hollywood Brown, and then no one else in that offense. So I think McBride, you're getting him at 200, pick 200, nothing. And you know, last year he got work, and that's what matters. That's what you like to see. You know, 39 targets, 265 yards, and a touchdown. And if he eats up even half of these, and he does what he did last year, you know, say he gets 30 more targets, that's a 69 target year. And I think at pick 200, that's more than enough. All right. What did my favorite team do? They went Addison. I love Addison. I love him too. The team doesn't have a miss so far, so I'm interested to see what they do here. If I were them, I don't know who I'd pick. I'd probably Gabe Davis. Oh no, Quentin Johnson. Rashad. Oh, okay. I don't disagree. You know, Johnston, if you're low on him just as a rookie coming in with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, you know, and I like Rashad White a lot. I think if there are 3 league winners this year at running back, it's going to be Rashad White, Brian Robinson, and I didn't say this one in the tweet, but I'd say Rashad Penny's up there just for where he's going. Who's the last one? Brian Robinson, Rashad White. I think Damian Harris could be one. Khalil Herbert could be one. Who was I thinking? Josh J, Najee. Whatever, I'm on the clock. I may have said Sanders. I don't know who I said, but I like that pick a lot. Alright, so we don't have any stacks for Watson. I don't think I want to take him. I think Gabe Davis is the play here. He's past ADP. I don't like Tony. He's not going to come back around for me. And then I think Elijah Moore is the play if he falls. Although, if I'm that high on Elijah Moore that I'm saying he's the 1B to Amari's 1A, you could have made an argument for me to skip out on Davis, go with Deshaun Watson, and then take Elijah Moore on the turnaround. That may have been the play, but this person has Amari Cooper. They don't have a quarterback. It's possible Deshaun would have been sniped anyway, and he's taken their... Or Elijah Moore could have been sniped. Either one, whoever I took first. Or whoever I didn't take. But, they'll probably take more. I'm obviously not going to reach on Brian Robinson at this point. That'd be absurd. So Elijah Moore does fall. I don't think it's a very difficult decision. I think we're going to have to take him. and then hope that Brian Robinson makes it to us on the way back around. But if it's, I mean, Elijah Moore versus Zay Flowers, Michael Thomas, Cortland Sutton, it's not even remotely close. I think it's a huge teardrop. I don't like. I mean, I would have been in a tough spot if Elijah hadn't made it. I don't like Cooks. I don't like Flowers. I mean, Flowers is my favorite of the group, but I don't like anyone. Boyd, Sky Moore, Lazard, Odell. I don't. It's so bad for so long. So we're definitely gonna wait on receiver for a while and then kind of fill it later on when, you know, Paris Campbell's coming back around, and, you know, we're looking at Van Jefferson, Thielen. That's when it starts picking up again. But I'd say from Gallup all the way up to where we currently are, it is just garbage options. I don't want anything to do with anybody in this area. But 11 picks away. I will be fine reaching on Brian Robinson if I have to. I think, like, it'll be unique, and I think he has a very high potential to be elite and completely smashes ADP out of the water. You know, like, he's the RB36. He was on pace with the games he played. Maybe it wasn't every game. Maybe it was like the last 6 weeks of the season. He was on pace for 1,400 yards on the ground. I mean, it's just insane. He crushed it at the end of the year. I mean, let me pull up what it actually was. I'll pull up that tweet. Yeah, so from weeks 10 to 16, get this, 10 to 16, he had 19.7 carries a game, and if that were maintained for a full season, he has 1,400 yards on the ground. The RB, oh, he goes. There's no way. He goes 11 picks before his ADP. That's tragic. Well, that changes things. I think we already have a Cleveland selection, so we could go Njoku, but I think Freiermuth is a better option in general. I mean, touchdown regression goes positive, and he's the tight end 5, you know? Michael Thomas, though, falls very far. I think, I don't think it matters, though. I think Lazard is the play, and then Dak or Daniel Jones coming back around. So Dak goes with that Brandon Cook stack. That's pretty good. That's going to be good. Week 15, 16, 17, high upside. Brandon Cooks, who had like 760 yards last year. Like, I get it. It was a bad offense, but he's been in the league a long time. Michael Thomas finally falls. So let's check up on our favorite team. Addison, Rachaad White. They took Brian Robinson. This team is me. This team gets me because Herbert's my favorite target at quarterback, and Brian Robinson, Rachaad White. That's insane. All right, I think I'm gonna backfill Giants receivers. I think Daniel Jones is, unless he gets taken, I think he's the play. They need receivers bad. I would assume they go like Allen Lazard because they have Garrett Wilson. They take Daniel Jones. That sucks. I do have the stack with Geno anyway, so I'm not too upset about it. I'm a big Daniel Jones believer, but if we have to go with Geno, we have to assume he had 314 points last year. He had 4,200 yards, 30 touchdowns, and the offense got better. I mean, you can't be upset about taking Geno when you have a JSN stack. All right, so Charbonnet goes 12 picks past ADP. It's a good value. This team is interesting. All right, let's look at who we got. So we have, where are we? We have Eckler, JT, Brees Hall, Jerry Jeudy, Godwin, JSN, Gabe Davis, Elijah Moore, Pat Freiermuth, Geno Smith. So I think I don't want Rodgers. I mean, stacking with Brees Hall. I know Brees catches balls out of the backfield, but that's not a stack to me. Plus, I'm not a Rodgers guy. I'm a Brees Hall guy. I'll get on board with that. I think talent alone can carry him to a decent fantasy finish, but I don't like Aaron. I don't like him this year. I don't like him in general. It'll be interesting to see where Okonkwo goes. So I will take Devin Achaney if he falls. If not, I don't really like anyone here, but I think Dulcich would be the play. They're going to take him. Jerick McKinnon. Oh, no. I mean, you have Mahomes. You don't have any other stack. I get it. But at the same time, I really don't. I don't like this pick. But it's 11 picks past ADP. I can be done at running back. I think that's fine. And Van Jefferson is in play coming back around. I can refresh you all on my Van Jefferson stats. Let's go here. Van Jefferson. Take out his 3 worst games in 2022. 11.54 PPR points, or the wide receiver 41 in 2021 for some reason. He's being drafted as the wide receiver 62. Has that changed? Nope, still. In 2022, he only played weeks 10 to 18. In that time, if you can believe it, the Rams averaged 151 pass yards per game, or the second worst in the NFL. But despite this, he commanded an 18% target share, 26.99% of the yards, and 37.5% of the touchdowns. And if that were maintained with Stafford's projections and a normal touchdown rate, because obviously that's not going to sustain, he would be over 1,000 yards in 2023. And even if Kupp comes back, he's obviously going to soak up a lot of that production. If he even does exactly what he did in 2021, just do it again. Oh, Rodgers falls. I feel like I have to take him. I don't like him. I have Brees Hall. I don't have a true stack, but when he falls that far past ADP, you got to take advantage of that, I think. Yeah, so he could do exactly what he did in 2021 this year, and think about who he's going with. So that would be what was it, like 800 yards, 800 something, with 3 touchdowns. Do you think Thielen's going to get to 800? Do you think Gallup's going to get to 800? Mooney would be lucky to get 400. Mooney is terrible in an awful offense. Zay Jones could get to 800. Jacoby could, but they're being drafted ahead of him. Jonathan Mingo? Look at who he's going around. He could... And nobody was added to this offense either. Nobody's taking targets away. He can do just exactly what he did in 2021, but I think he could do even more. I think he's developed. So, that's my Van Jefferson rant. All right, what are we looking at with my favorite team? They go Brian Robinson, Rondell Moore, Goff. Is Goff stacking with anybody? Jameson Williams, so I think that's a good play. Tank Bigsby. I like that selection as well. I like this team so much. This is a winning team. I don't like reaching on Rondell Moore. I don't think he has any upside week to week. I think you're lucky to get 10 points from him, you know. But if he can help you get to playoffs and you're taking him, where was he taken? Am I going crazy? Mingo, Gallup, Van Jefferson. God, he was taken too early. At pick 117, I don't know if I agree with that. I like Marvin Jones. Here, the reason I like Marvin Jones is you're getting him last pick of the draft. And if you pick I think Marvin Jones goes for 600 yards, 5 touchdowns, last pick in the draft. And he's not going to have insane upside week to week, but the playoff rate is going to increase if you just take him, because he's going to do far better than, you know, Corey Davis or Josh Downs. Like, when you're taken this far, you either take Trey Lance because you need insane upside, or you take Marvin Jones to increase your playoff rate, and that's all you do. Like, the last pick, unless you find some Zay Jones kind of pick, it shouldn't, like, don't overthink it. That last pick in the draft, if one pick in round 18 can boost your playoff rate from 8% to 9 to 10%, that was a successful pick. Because once you're in playoffs, it doesn't matter what team you drafted, it doesn't matter who you have on your team, anything can happen. I always advocate for just getting to playoffs. Just get there. Alright, so I could take Stafford, but I don't want to overpay for a quarterback when I don't need to. I think Chark is in play. I think Everett's in play. If I take Everett, I think I can be done. But I think I'm going to take Chark, and let me explain why. And it's because a guy down here, Tyler Conklin. I have Rodgers. He's consistent. He had almost exactly the same season on a different team. Different team, same production. If I can get 500 yards, 3 touchdowns out of my, pick 190 tight end, it's exactly what I was saying with Marvin Jones. You don't have to pick the sexiest option in round 17 and 18. It's about picking options that can boost your team throughout the regular season and then have even a sliver of upside in the playoffs. I mean, Tyler Higbee didn't score a touchdown the entire year and then had 3 in a span of 2 weeks during the fantasy football playoffs. So, I'm done with running back. I'll take Shaheed. Yeah. Like Higbee. You think of Tyler Higbee, you're like, oh, okay, he's, going to get 600 yards, 50 catches, something like that. Couple touchdowns. And he won me money last year. Him and Kittle. So it's like, do I take Everett, who doesn't have a ton of upside? His situation got worse. Or do I take Conklin, whose situation got better, same production, rounds later? I mean, it's like Conklin is one of the best values you can get. And if Conklin doesn't fall, Trey McBride will. And I was just talking about him. So with Chark, Shaheed, Chris Godwin, I'm kind of setting myself up for some stacks. I can do Bryce Young. I can, let's see. Actually, Carr did fall. Or he was selected. But I can get Bryce Young. I like Sam Howell a lot. I don't have any stack, but I think if you're taking, you know, when you're taking a third quarterback, it's like, you don't want to overpay. You have Geno. He'll carry most of the season. Rodgers will have his 3 touchdown weeks. You know, Pickett, like, how many times when I have Geno and Rodgers, this is what I think about. When I have the two of those, how many times realistically will Pickett or Bryce Young or Jordan Love slide into my starting lineup ahead of them? Like once? Now ask that about Howell. Once? Except he's going around later. So why would I overpay for Jordan Love, who I don't like, when you're just, it's like 1 week of value you're getting out of them. All right, my guy does hopefully fall here. I do like Mechie a lot. And actually that could set up a Stroud stack, but you got to get your guy. You got to go with your guy. Unless he's taken, then you go with your second guy. Oh, this guy's on auto. Or something. I don't know what they're on. Alright, getting my guy, Paris Campbell. There you go. I'll get, I could get Mechie if he falls. We have 3 more picks. I could get McBride, Howell, Mac Jones, whoever falls, and Mechie, and that would be a dream. I mean, if Pickett falls, you know? I was talking about how I don't like him at pick 168, but if I'm getting him at pick 184, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with taking him. I think it's more about, you know, when you're overpaying for someone who's not going to be in your starting lineup any more than Sam Howell. Pickett does go. They both have 7 receivers, so it's very possible that Mechie falls. So we'll see. Bryce Young. So no, yeah, neither of them have Stroud. Zeke goes. And they need a running back. Although, no, they don't. They went hyper fragile. So they go Gesicki. I'm going to get Mechie. And then I'll be done at receiver. I think that worked out perfectly. I don't care who I get between Conklin and McBride. As long as one of them, as long as one of Conklin, Hurst, and McBride make it back to me. I don't like Likely. Musgrave is not good. I don't like anyone down here. I mean, I could go Noah Fant in the last round. I think that, I could stack with Geno. But I don't think he has any, like, true upside. Like, at all. Not even like, Higbee upside. Just with that offense. I mean, there's no way he gets, in a single game, more than 4 or 5 catches ever. Best case scenario, he gets 3 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. And then you just lose to the team with Kelsey, who scores 20 points. So, I'm making a bet on Freiermuth because I could take 3 tight ends. Geno and Rodgers could be enough that I take 3 tight ends, but I don't think I'm going to do that because I don't think it's enough. I think Freiermuth is potentially elite to a point where I think I can just give some depth with Conklin or McBride and he can carry the load most of the way. Let's review our favorite team. McCaffrey, Higgins, Andrews, Mike Williams, Herbert, Addison, White, Jameson, Robinson, Rondell Moore, Jared Goff, Tank Bigsby, Tyler Higbee, Kenneth Gainwell, Parker, Darius Slayton. I like this team so much. It's so good. Jelani Woods goes at pick 195. Ooh, Samaje Perine, Burks. Yuck. That's so bad. The team is terrible. Juju, Sutton, Tyquan Thornton, Cole Kmet. What an awful team. I'm sorry. Like, maybe they're excited about it. That's so bad. So we're going to hope Conklin falls. They have Pitts, and both have elite tight ends. I wouldn't expect either of them to take Conklin. So I'm going to get him 10 picks past ADP. It's good that I went with Mechie and I didn't reach on him when I didn't have to. And then I can just go with my guy Baker if I need to, or Trey Lance if I need upside. Either one. But this team, who I hope is not auto drafting, they're going to take Conklin. See, I know they're auto drafting, but what were the odds that they had some, ranking list that had Conklin low, whatever. Okay, I'm going to have to go with McBride. I think that's fine. I have no issues with that at all. No stack, but I think, honestly, McBride has more upside than Conklin. I think so. All right, Mac Jones, Desmond Ridder. I don't want Jimmy G. It's between these 4 guys, essentially. And I don't know which one I want. I can get a stack with Godwin if I go Baker. I don't have a stack with Trey Lance, but you don't really need a stack because most of his production just comes from rushing on the ground anyway. I don't think I want Ridder. I don't think I want him. I'm going to have to hope this guy, Dak and Daniel Jones, maybe they're like, hey, Dak chokes, Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. I'm going to take Trey Lance, and then it makes my job easier. So we're going to hope for that. This team is definitely done. Okay, make it easy on us. Wan'Dale Robinson goes. I mean, damn, I kind of want to go Baker. I think if Baker Mayfield throws say he throws 2 touchdowns to Godwin in week 16. I just make it to the finals. So I'm gonna go Baker. I know there are people who are huge on Lance. I get it, but I think with the stack, we've seen Baker be productive in a good situation. It's a last round pick. And it's kind of like what I was saying before, is like you're picking in round 18. It's not like you're picking to win the league at that point. If Baker can slide into my starting lineup twice this year, that was a successful pick. So I think that's fine. I think if I were in like a higher stakes draft, you know, Best Ball Mania, Big Dog, something like that, I think I'd take Lance. But this is a puppy. I know it's 111,000 entrants, so you have to have upside, but it feels like a waste of a draft if I go Lance, and I don't want to. I'll do that on my own time when nobody's watching. All right. We'll quick review and then sign off here once they make their selection. Damn, we had a couple people on auto draft. I got a lot of my guys, a lot of my favorites. So I'm not unhappy with how that went. So that's done. So let's look at the board here. We have Eckler, we have JT, Brees Hall, and Devin and Shaney. Then we have Judy, Godwin, JSN, Gabe Davis, Elijah Moore. Perfect. DJ Chark, Shaheed, Paris Campbell, John Mechie, Pat Fryermuth, Trey McBride, and then Baker, Aaron Rodgers, and Geno Smith. I think that's a completely fine. I think that's a fine draft. I think we were beat out by this CMC team. I don't know about. I get Ty Chandler. I don't know about Tutu Atwell, but maybe. But if it's Atwell versus like, I don't know. My man Marvin Jones didn't even go. I mean, if it's Atwell versus Marvin Jones, I don't think it's very difficult at all. I mean, even like 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now he's in Detroit. He's not going to get insane volume with Amon-Ra St. Brown there. But they have a rookie tight end. They have Jameson Williams, suspended for 6 games. Who did they throw to? What's his name? Josh Reynolds? Come on. You know, like, I don't see any scenario where he doesn't get at least 400 yards. And can you say that about Josh Downs? Can you say that about... if I can't pronounce their name, if I've never... Because, listen, I can't pronounce names well, so I listen to other people say them, and then I just imitate it. If I've never heard this name out loud to a point where, like, I don't know how to say it myself now, that is not a good sign. McCole Hardman, maybe 400 yards. Terrace Marshall, maybe, but that's why they're going ahead of him. But, like, people going around him, like Josh Reynolds. Look at Josh Reynolds last year. Look at what he did. 500 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is exactly what I'm saying. This stat line right here is going to be exactly what Marvin Jones has. And that is going to completely boost your playoff rate. I think it's a no-brainer with him. CEH doesn't get drafted, but he is climbing boards a little bit. I've seen some discourse on Twitter about him. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up. So, luckily I had sound. I'm pretty sure. Let's hope and pray I had sound this time so I can actually post the video. But make sure to like, follow, check me out on Twitter. It's same handle, Stats Undetected. Bush Sports is the profile name.